Sahajanand Swami Maharajni Jai. Vachnamrut number 83. God highlights the topic of Mahatmya sahit Bhagwanni Bhakti. Mahatmya means to understand the importance or value or the glory or the greatness of God and the role of God in our life. Understanding how priceless this blessing is, what a treasure we have found, how much of gratitude we must have for having found a spiritual path, for having found God, and with that Mahatmya, expressing bhakti to God, expressing love to God in whatever ways or means possible, through our sadhanas, through kirtans, through satsang, through katha varta. And why is that important? Muktanand Swami asks a question. વાસનાની નિવૃત્તિ થયાનો એવો શો જબરો ઉપાય છે જે એક ઉપાયને વિશે સર્વ સાધન આવી જાય. If I want to overcome vasanas, desires, expectations, vulnerability, if I want to reach a state of equanimity in which no outcomes affect me, disturb me, that is only possible when I don't have expectations, when I am only interested in my effort and not in the outcomes. What is that one upay through which I can achieve this state? And eventually he answers that Mahatmya sahit Bhagwanni Bhakti એ જ વાસના ટાળ્યાનો મહા મોટો અચળ ઉપાય છે, અચળ સાધન છે. Understanding the value and role of God in our life and loving God is the ultimate solution to overcoming vasanas. Vasanas' other meaning is those wishes which we want to be fulfilled, come what may, anyhow. Those wishes that leave us handicapped if they don't get fulfilled. And existence of such wishes is always going to leave us vulnerable. Shriji Maharaj said, Shraddha, Vishwas, Preeti અને Mahatmya એ ચાર વાના જેના હૃદયમાં હોય તેની વાસના નિવૃત્તિ થઈ જાય છે. અને તેમાંથી એક મહાત્મ્ય અતિશય દ્રઢ હોય તો શ્રદ્ધા, વિશ્વાસ ને પ્રીતિ એ ત્રણ દુબળા હોય તો પણ મહાબળવાન થાય છે. અને મહાત્મ્ય વિનાની ભક્તિ તો જાજી જણાતી હોય તો પણ અંતે નાશ થઈ જાય છે. He is saying there are 4 ways out. Shraddha, faith, unshakable faith in God. હરિ ને હરિના જનના વચનને વિષય વિશ્વાસ. The second sadhan is વિશ્વાસ. I trust the word of God and the word of the Satpurush so much that I follow it blindly, wholly, unconditionally. Having faith in God, trusting the word of God, Preeti, falling in love with God, and Mahatmya, understanding the importance of the presence of God. Understanding the importance of the role of God. And he says, even if your faith, your trust and your love in God is weak, if the Mahatmya is strong, the faith, the trust and the love, in spite of being weak, will start strengthening themselves because the Mahatmya is in place. Work on the Mahatmya alone and all the other 3 will follow, he says. Mahatmya sahit Bhagwanni Bhakti hoy તો બીજા અનેક કલ્યાણકારી ગુણ ન હોય તો પણ ભક્તના હૃદયમાં સર્વે આવે છે. All liberating virtues, kalyankari gunas, will be inculcated in the spirit, in the soul of that seeker whose Mahatmya starts falling in place. If we understand how blessed we are how much of grace God has showered on us, how much is God's glory, how great He is, how dayalu He is, how much karuna He has, how much compassion He has, how much unconditional love He has for us. If we are going to develop this Mahatmya, then automatically the other Kalyankari virtues will start developing in us. In the following part, he's explained how to develop this Mahatmya. ભગવાનના દર્શનનો મહિમા તથા ભગવાનના નામ સ્મરણનો જે મહિમા તથા ભગવાનના સ્પર્શનો જે મહિમા તે સમજવો. To understand the Mahatmya of God's presence in our life, we have to understand the Mahatmya of God's darshan, of God's naam smaran, of God's sparsh. How to understand this? When we are doing darshan of God, જ્યારે એ દર્શનનો કરનારો ભગવાનના દર્શન કરે છે ત્યારે એનું મન છે તે દ્રષ્ટિ દ્વારે આવીને મને સોતી દ્રષ્ટિએ જો દર્શન કરે તો તે દર્શન એવું થાય જે વિસારે તોય પણ વિસરે નહીં. એવી રીતે મન સહ વર્તમાન ત્વચાએ સ્પર્શ કરે તો તે સ્પર્શ પણ વિસરે નહીં. When we are doing darshan of God, along with our eyes, our entire mind, our entire being, our entire soul must do darshan of God. Our entire presence must only and only do darshan of God. Because several Devi Devta, several seekers long for this human birth in which you can do darshan of God. It's such a rare, priceless treasure of an opportunity to even be able to do the darshan of the Murti of God, to do darshan of the Satpurush. Like that, if we have gotten a chance that we can do sparsh of the charan of the Murti of God or sparsh of the charan of the Satpurush, this is such a priceless blessing. We must understand how rare these treasures are. જે ગોપાંગનાઓ ભગવાન પ્રત્યે ભગવાનના વચનમાં એમ કહે છે, હે ભગવાન, જે દિવસથી તમારા ચરણનો સ્પર્શ થયો છે તે દિવસ થકી તમ વિના જે જે સંસારનું સુખ છે તે અમને વિષ સમ લાગે છે. Gopis who fell in love with God, they used to tell God that from the day that we have done sparsh of your charan, sansarik sukh of the sense of touch is like poison to us. It's so inferior in front of the touch of your charan that it is so inferior that it's insignificant as a source of happiness. All the happiness that we desire in life we get by touching your feet. And he says that જેમ અજ્ઞાની જીવ હોય તેણે મને સહ વર્તમાન જે પંચ જ્ઞાન ઇન્દ્રિયો તેણે કરીને જે જે વિષય ભોગવ્યા હોય તે વિસારે તોય પણ વિસરે નહીં. એવી રીતે ભગવાનનું પણ મન સહ વર્તમાન જે દર્શનાદિક કરે તેને જ દર્શનાદિક જાણવું ને બીજાને તો દર્શન થયું તોય પણ ન થયા જેવું છે. જે સમયે એણે દર્શન કર્યો તે સમયે એનું મન તો ક્યાંય ફરતું હતું. માટે એ દર્શન એક દિવસમાં વિસરી જશે, કાં 5 દિવસમાં, કાં 50 દિવસમાં, કાં 6 મહિનામાં, અથવા વર્ષમાં, અથવા 5 વર્ષમાં પણ જરૂર વિસરી જશે, અંતે રહેશે નહીં. માટે મહાત્મ્ય જાણીને અતિ પ્રીતિએ કરીને મનસહ દ્રષ્ટિ આદિક જ્ઞાન ઇન્દ્રિયએ કરીને દર્શન સ્પર્શાદિક કરે છે તેનું જ તેને ફળ મળે છે. અને બીજાને તો પરમેશ્વરના દર્શનાદિક થાય છે તો પણ બીજ બળ થાય છે. He is saying that if you have done darshan with man, with full presence, with completely immersing yourself in darshan, then you will never forget that darshan. But if the darshan is done superficially, then that darshan is not Mahatmya sahit darshan. That darshan is extremely inferior darshan. Whenever something materialist also being observed, but if it is observed with full concentration and meditation, you never forget that thing. You are always having a memory of those things. They go into our muscle memory if they are done with full involvement. If a satsang is heard with full involvement, you will hear it, you will remember it for life. If a darshan is done with full involvement, we will remember it for life. If a sparsh of a Satpurush is done with full involvement, we will remember it for life. Like that, everything spiritual must be done with full involvement. Then we have understood the Mahatmya of that thing. And if we have understood the Mahatmya of that thing, then we will have Shraddha increasing in us, we will have Preeti increasing in us, and we will also have all other Kalyanagari guns like Vishwas increasing in us. And if those increase, our Vaasna will be overcome. And if that will be overcome, we will have a Kalyankari state of mind. We will have a liberated state of being. यथार्थ महिमा तो जे मन સહિત વર્તમાન દર્શનાદિક કરે છે તેને અર્થે જ છે. Hence he is concluding the Vachnamrut by saying that yathartha, authentically, the Mahatmya only he has understood who does darshan, sparsh, katha, kirtan, nam smaran adik with complete involvement in God. May we all seekers engage in spirituality with this form of complete involvement. May we understand the Mahatmya of it being such a rare blessing that we are able to worship God, that we are able to see God, that we are able to do Bhakti of God, that we are able to listen to satsang, that we are able to understand satsang, that this kind of Satpurush, these kind of satsangs have walked into our life. घेर बैठा मड़िया अक्षरवासी, ना गई गंगा गोदावरी काशी. None of us have worked hard or went out of the way or done any great sadhana to have been blessed with this satsang, to have been blessed with these Vachnamrats, to have been blessed with these bhajans. We must not take these for granted. If we take these for granted, we are not going to overcome material obstacles. We are not going to overcome inner negativities. If we want to overcome inner negativities, our self-created limitations, if we want to overcome vasanas and vulnerability, we must do everything with this Mahatmya and with this authenticity. Sahajanand Swami Maharajani Jai.